Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 25th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery of British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. We've got an impulse moving through today, and it should be wrapping up as we go through the day tomorrow. It's going to bring some showery activity with it, but the main weather maker here coming up is this storm system out here south of the Aleutian Islands. You can see the associated jet stream off to the south here as well. And then we'll look at the extended forecast. Looks like we might try to build some ridging here as we go towards next weekend. We'll dive into those details as we go through the video here this morning. If we take a look at yesterday, that's back all the way up here, and you can kind of see the thunderstorm activity that did bounce around some of the Tri-Cities and Walla Walla there yesterday, then into Oregon and Idaho before that finally wrapped up here. And as we go on into the early morning hours, you can kind of see the shower activity with this next impulse moving into western Oregon and western Washington as we speak. If we take a look at Seattle yesterday, we did get above average a little bit. There was quite a nice day for a while. Some nice sun breaks out here across much of the region. Nowhere near that record high set back in 2010 of 68 degrees, but no rainfall either. And day one convective outlook, you can see there is no thunderstorms forecast for today here across the Pacific Northwest. Mountain pass snow, National Weather Service Spokane at times during this week. Pass roads could be snow covered during the night, mainly the morning hours here, and you're likely to get some melting during the afternoon hours. So heads up for that. We'll look at some of those snow totals here in the weather models in a moment. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station, check it out, Haptic Rain Gauge. It can tell you exactly when it starts raining at your house. Nice smartphone app as well. Stores all the data for you in the cloud. Highly recommend that station. Now, taking a look here at the North American model, 3-kilometer version here. You can see that impulse moving through as we go through the day today. That's what the Doppler radar may look like. Kind of hit and miss shower activity here. Some onshore flow, some convergent zone activity possible on in through tomorrow morning. Then we start to wrap up those showers. But you can clearly see that storm system out over the Pacific making its way towards the coast of the Pacific Northwest here as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Pretty robust frontal system here, and it's going to bring some cold air aloft across the region as well. Probably going to introduce a thunderstorm threat at times as we go through the end of the week. And this system's going to merge with one that's going to be off the coast of California. And then we're going to try to nose that ridging in here as we go towards the weekend. More on that here in a moment. Taking a look at total snow, 10-to-1 ratio here over the next couple of days on the North American model. As we go through the day today and tonight, you could get a bit of snow across the Cascades of Oregon, Washington. You see maybe a little bit for Snoqualmie Pass here, Stevens Pass. Heads up, you might run into some winter driving conditions, again, mainly nighttime and morning hours. And then as the next system arrives, you can see it bringing some bigger amounts with it, and that wraps up here on Wednesday afternoon. We'll take a look at the European, a little bit further extended snowfall forecast here in a minute. But if we look at the European, last night, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. I'd like to show what's going on at the upper levels of the atmosphere. Here's the impulse moving through today and tonight. And then you can see the next one, the stronger storm system out here. You can see the curl of the mid-latitude cyclone out over the Pacific Ocean here, spreading some of that colder air aloft back across the region. And that's what could be helping kick off some thunderstorm activity as we go on into Thursday. Looking at 100-meter wind speed, let's put this into motion, and you can see some westerlies across eastern Washington, Oregon, a little bit of convergent zone activity through tomorrow morning. And then you can clearly see the next mid-latitude cyclone bringing some locally windy conditions to the coastal areas, maybe the northwest interior through southwest BC, places prone to some of those southeast winds. And you'll see that storm's going to be with us for a bit here as we go through the day Thursday, ushering in some more cold air there as well. As you can see the storm right there off the Washington coast. Now, if we take a look at significant wave height, also dealing with this. So this is for, actually, this is, I believe, let me update that, make sure it's most recent. There, that's the most recent here. Okay, now we've got some wave action here, we're in a lull here, and then we're going to watch this next system roll in here as we go on in through Tuesday. You'll see Wednesday morning we start to get the increase in some of the wave heights, but then you'll see the waves associated with the next system here, probably bringing some elevated wave heights for the Oregon coast up into Washington, Vancouver Island as we go towards the end of the week. But then you'll quickly see that wane, and that moves off to the south here, and we start to build some ridging, and we're going to relax the wave action here as well, and we might warm things up here across the Pacific Northwest. Lightning flash density potential. I just wanted to kind of show this here as well. We're going to scroll all the way off in towards Wednesday. It does show some thunderstorm activity here for western Washington and Oregon as we go through Wednesday afternoon, and then again on Thursday as we get some pretty cold air aloft and some showery weather here across much of the Pacific Northwest. We'll be breaking down this as we get a bit closer to it. These setups can be extremely fickle here, and they can disappear, or they can even end up being a little bit more robust than what the models are showing. But again, this is the European lightning flash density potential. potential as of last night. If we look at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, wider view of things here at 18,000 feet, general trough and ridge position. Here's Alaska, there's Washington and Oregon, and you can see on the right again, here's the GFS. We're looking at things currently. Of course, we got the trough across much of the west here, and we continue the onshore flow, and then we've got the next system, the stronger storm. Pretty good model agreement there, and then you can see that one kind of has its eyes on California as we build a ridge here across the Pacific Northwest as we go through some portions of the weekend here. And then the European is much weaker with the trough versus the GFS as we go on into the following week, but that's to be expected. There's going to be differences in the models as we look off into the extended forecast here, but we'll break those down day by day and make sure to know what is coming. Now, if we look at the national blend of models here, so this is for today, Monday, March 25th. And as we go through tomorrow, Tuesday, maybe a bit of a bounce back. But then we bring that next system in here. We're going to have a lot of clouds around on Wednesday as that frontal system moves through, bringing some precipitation with it. There's Thursday, Friday. You notice we start to bounce back a little bit again here as we go towards the end of the week. We get Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Maybe we'll warm up nicely as we go towards the weekend and on in through the earlier portions of next week. As you can see, some 70s starting to show for Eastern Washington here. So, yep, hope always off in the extended forecast. Now, taking a look at the European 6-hour precipitation type. So here we go with this system as we go through tonight. Keep that onshore flow and some showery weather going on in through the day tomorrow. And then the stronger storm arrives, casting its frontal system with it. Lots of cold air aloft behind and a powerful pressure gradient, but most of this stays out over the water. It's going to get breezy along the coastal areas. And again, as I mentioned, some of the southeast prone areas across the northwest interior and southwest BC. And that's throwing some cold air over the region. You can see that storm moves off to the south and affects California, and we get a bit of a break here as we go towards next weekend. So there is some hope for next weekend, remaining somewhat dry on into the early portions of the next week. If we look at total snow 10-to-1 ratio, so here we go through the day today. You can see a bit of snow across the Cascades. Nothing too crazy when you're talking about the Washington, Oregon Cascades up into British Columbia. But as we go through Wednesday, that frontal system could bring some heavier amounts as we go through Wednesday and then Wednesday night. You can see some activity, shower activity continuing on through the day Thursday here as well. So I was hoping we'd bounce back a little bit better, but hopefully this one can overperform as we go through the day Wednesday as far as mountain snows, because you can see the snow water equivalent not doing too hot across portions of Washington, Idaho, and Montana still. A lot of Oregon right around average. Some of southern Oregon is a little bit above average, but northern Oregon, some portions are actually below average now. And looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, March 30th through April 3rd here, you can see that above average signal there across a bit of the Pacific Northwest, below average across the Southwest. And then you can see the 6 to 10 day below average across Pacific Northwest and Southwest above average here. So yeah, this is that next storm system we're waiting on here, and it should be a fairly strong one, but it's going to remain far enough off the coastline where it's not going to bring any kind of a region-wide windstorm or anything like that. We're not looking at excessive precipitation or anything like that as well, but we could spawn some thunderstorms Wednesday and probably Thursday again here. But again, we'll be breaking that down day by day, and so we can take a look at some of the high resolution models as we get closer to that event. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We will do this again tomorrow and break everything down, and I'll talk to you guys then.